Brett Pontecorvo here at mainstagetoableton.com, and today we are talking about essential effects for keyboard players. So if you're a keyboard player like me, these are things you're definitely going to want to check out. Today we're talking about Reverb. Reverb is totally a tool that you can use for mixing, but today, in this context, we're going to talk about Reverb more as a special effect for your keyboard. So these settings may or may not work if you're trying to produce your hippest track of all time, but if you're playing live with a band and you're looking to get a little bit more mileage out of one sound, that is a thing you could do. I'm actually going to delete this reverb, and we're going to start from scratch. So I've got loaded in here Contact's Grandeur. It is, I guess, Native Instruments, not Contact, but dry, total standard preset. And I'm going to just bring in Ableton's native reverb. It's a pretty darn good plugin. I like it quite a bit. So I've not done anything to the reverb. I'm going to play. So that's fine. Here are the things that I really like to do. First of all, I feel like this is a little bit backwards. I always like to go in here and do a low cut. Reason being, I'm probably not the one that is the most responsible for the low end, and so I feel like there's no real reason to have a ton of mud. I like to just turn my pre-delay off. We are not using this as a tool to get a great mix. This is 100% a sound effect. All right, so let's have a listen with just only what I just did. Yeah, already I'm digging that. I'm actually going to sweep a touch more off here. Cool. All right. So let's talk about spin. This has to do with, in your virtual room, sort of the sounds that first bounce off the wall. That sounds a little bit out there, but once you kind of play with these settings, it will make a little bit more sense. I like to have this down around 19 or 20, and this is way too much spin for me. I will put this... let's have a listen. Cool. Okay, this is all going to make sense in a bit here. Already we've got a lot less of that sort of like pinging wah sound, which I don't love. Now we're going for some extremes here because we're going to use this as an effect. So for size of the room, I go all the way up. This is going to sort of give you the ability, using the dry wet knob, to drastically change how far or close away you are when the audience is listening. So I like having that all the way up. And same for stereo. So give you the ability to take up a tremendous amount of space when it's appropriate. And again, using the dry wet knob, if it's taking up too much space, you can fix that. So let's have a listen just with those. I'm a fan. I turn off this diffusion network. We don't need it. Decay time, I love mine at about 4 seconds. Now, obviously, depending on what you're into and what type of music you're playing, you need to be careful with this. 4 is a very long time for decay, and it definitely gives you a little bit more of an ambient sound. So if that's fitting for what you're doing, great. If not, change the length a little bit. Let's have a listen. Cool. So we've got a huge tail, and that kind of is what it is. I like to turn my density to 75, and I like to turn my scale to about 50. This just makes everything a little bit darker. It's a little warmer. Cool. I like to add a lot more chorus than what we're rocking at here. I like to keep this guy around 18, and I like to give this a bit of a boost. Let's have a listen. Cool. So I would highly recommend if you don't have a controller, you should grab one. I highly recommend mapping this to something that is easily accessible. So right now I just mapped it to a knob that is very close to me that I can work with. So no effects. And now we can really go super extreme with this, and if we turn it all the way up, we've got like a soft sounding pad, which is cool. But again, it's totally an effect. This is not something likely that you're going to use for mixing. But when you're playing, absolutely. All right. So one last feature that I love about this plugin is the Reverb freeze. I'm gonna show it to you. Then we'll chat about it. So here it is. So you can't see my hands, but I am not playing anything, and we've still got reverb coming through. So I could now go in. And I've got this other sort of ambient sound. So now I'm only using one instrument, just the piano, but I'm getting two different sounds. That's super sick. If you noticed, it also does not add to your freeze. Although if you wanted to, you could turn cut off. Cut would... Turning cut off would allow everything you add to be added to the freeze. But we don't want that. We want to be able to sort of have the ability to make that. So that is reverb, and how that is actually how I use it when I'm playing live. Some songs you don't need much. A little bit goes a long way. I mean, if you're playing, I don't know, something that is a little bit more... you probably don't want too much, but if you're playing something that is a little bit more ambient, you have the ability to do that as well. And it's a beautiful tool here. So this is Reverb as an effect. Don't forget, you can head over to my website and download my Essential Keyboard Player Effect Rack, or in the link, you can download this Reverb plugin by yourself. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to Ableton, and especially if you're switching from MainStage, head over to my website at mainstagetoableton.com/go to get your free copy of the Fast Track patch list guide today, which will have you up and running with a MainStage style patch list in Ableton Live. And to stay up to date with all of our latest blog posts, be sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel here.